gentlemen, you are entering into the most dangerous country on Earth. Please remember, Kim Jong-un is a master manipulator.
I have a gift for you.
Oh, this dog is killing me with cuteness.
He's a crazy cute.
Sound system in here?
Oh, no, don't touch.
Katy Perry?
I've never heard this before in my life.
I love Katy Perry.
Really?
As you shoot across the sky.
Well, Sony Pictures took a lot of flack for not putting the interview out on Christmas as was earlier planned, but they did eventually decide, hey, we're going to release it online, which so many of us were saying from the get-go, not to buckle to the calls from North Korea that this was nothing but spreading propaganda. Anthony Fury and Simon Kent, our Sun News contributors, are with me. Well, Anthony, it looks like, as I said before, they may have won the battle, meaning North Korea, to get Sony to capitulate and say, no, we're not going to release it, but they do online. They make $15 million and counting off of it. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, you can't help but wonder what would they've made if the film just came out naturally. People went to see it on Christmas Day or Boxing Day, as people do. And there'd been this, oh, this is that movie that silly North Korea complained about, and haha, they're stupid complaints anyway, the movie's released now. You wonder, and I'm sure they're just sitting there in the CFO sitting there going, we had a plan, I wish we'd stuck to the plan. But corporations make these calculations all the time where they just go with the flow. So suddenly everyone was afraid they were gonna get bombed and attacked if they went to theaters, so you pull it out of theaters. Then everyone's saying you're capitulating to the terrorists or whatever it is. All right, put it back in whatever way you can. I mean, they're just doing the corporate shuffle, really.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation in this case, though, Simon. I can't think of a time when you've heard of a country hacking into another's major movie picture emails and threatening them, and they had to say, no, we're not going to release the movie. But that's what happened. So, we are in a whole unique sort of territory now with the ability for cyber terrorism, cyber attacks, and things like that. But $15 million is what Sony has made thus far. It cost them approximately $45 million to make this movie. They're by on all means on track to recover the costs from this. So there had been some suggestion that Sony, this is a big PR thing for them. But with that said, they were damaged along the way to this release, weren't they not?
Yeah, they paid a big price when we think about the release of all those emails, and it's going to hurt a few stars and their egos. And I don't think this is a film I'd even want to see until when you played that clip just then. At the very top of the clip, there was some talking heads. Now I want to see it because I love talking heads, and any movie that can put talking heads into its soundtrack shouldn't be ignored. And also the way this is played out. I mean, there's nothing more appealing in life than to do something other people tell you not to do. And if North Korea is saying, do not watch this film, do not go and see this film, I want to go and watch it, purely so I can thumb my nose at the North Koreans and say, well, look, I'm doing something you didn't want me to do. And you mentioned those figures there. Half that money was made over here in the UK in the last few days. I think they pulled in £6 or £7 million just in the UK in 3 days. Everyone wants to see it because everyone wants to talk about the film. It's not what it is, it's what it represents.
It's now been released in Canada online as of yesterday. Anthony, go ahead.
I thought when he said talking heads, I thought Simon was getting at he likes to see movies, people like you and me, and then I got offended because he's just talking about David Byrne or whatever.
Well, always riveting to watch you, Anthony.
Well, I guess, for a country in a dictatorship like North Korea, the best way to stick your thumb back in their eye is to make money off of, whatever they perceived as mocking them. But there was a lot of politics involved in Sony's decision, and commentary coming from the left and the right in the United States, including U.S. President Barack Obama, not agreeing with Sony's decision to pull the plug on the Christmas release, though it has been released in almost 300 independent theaters, not the big ones like we're used to, like Cineplex, for example, but some smaller ones. They've made nearly $3 million off of the traditional movie release. But Lindsey Graham, and those, again, as I said, it's kind of united everybody on all sides of the political aisle. Let's have a listen.
Well, it's a slander against the American president and the American people, and I appreciate President Obama standing up to the North Koreans. And here's the goal, is to make sure they feel pain from this effort to attack an American-owned company, American company, to censor a movie critical of their regime. So I hope the president will make them feel the pain that is due.
I can't remember, Anthony, the last time I ever heard Lindsey Graham say anything positive about President Barack Obama. But hey, in a time like
or
this,
saying anything positive about anything.
well, anything really. But in a situation like this, I mean, I think Obama got it right. I think his tone was measured and it was appropriate. But you know, it's a corporation. That's what Sony does. They are there to make money. And had they had on their hands, you know, all those threats of 9/11 style attacks on movie theaters, had they released it, then you don't recover from that. So I think just the release online made sense. They should have done. I think they should have done that from the beginning. But then in the you don't think so?
Well, no, only because I think, and understanding North Korea is like those Cosmo magazine, he's just not that into you articles.
Okay.
I think you need to understand who you're dating here in this game with North Korea, and whatever he does is more about him and his crazy stuff than it is about you. So you can't, no matter what America does, there's going to be some crazy nutcase stuff going on in North Korea. And there are little edicts they issue about our way of life or other countries that just don't hit the radar for whatever reason. They might not be as high octane or extreme, and they don't come with hacking, but this is just how they roll. So you're dealing with this kind of basket case personality. And I think it's, like I said, they were doing the corporate shuffle. I understand why they did what they did. But I agree with Obama that, you know, hey, why didn't you call me? We could have found a way to smack these guys back before we did any sort of caving action.
Well, and then after this all unfolded then, Simon, I mean, I'm rewinding the tape here a little bit, but it happened over the weekend. There was an internet shutdown for the limited internet access that the people of North Korea have. There was an internet shutdown. The North Koreans then turned around and blamed the United States for that. So there is still some toing and froing going on. They're calling it, you know, some semblance of terrorism, again, spreading lies and propaganda. One member of the North Korean regime even went so far as to pejoratively refer to U.S. President Barack Obama as a, quote, monkey. I mean, there's all sorts of war of words being thrown around. But in the end of all this, though, you know, now we have reports that there's bootleg copies of the interview that North Koreans are trying to get their hands on. So who's the winner in all this?
Well, I'd say Sony are the winner, obviously, in the end, because they're the ones that make all the money, and we're going to be shocked when we see the film or not. I'm just more shocked sitting here listening to you and Anthony come out so stridently supporting Barack Obama. What is the world coming to? I mean, the whole world is turning on its head all over a pretty low-budget piece of Hollywood fluff for the Christmas season. I don't think anyone takes North Korea really seriously. And when they said the internet collapsed in North Korea, that means 3 laptops crashed, and that was about it, because I don't know how technologically savage they are. And also, don't forget, they're always making blood-curdling threats against either Japan or South Korea or anyone else in the South China Sea. North Korea, in many ways, are more a danger to themselves than anyone else. But let's enjoy the ride, and good on Sony. Their job is to make money. That's why Hollywood exists. I hope they make bags of it.
At the heart of this for a leader like Kim Jong-un, he doesn't, you know, we see images, Anthony, released of soldiers literally tripping over themselves as their dear leader walks by, weeping, you know, when they see him, things like that. What was his fear of this movie being released? Because of the mockery? Because let's face it, the people of North Korea are treated to the worst of human rights abuses. I mean, they're in the gulags. I mean, and there's food starvation, food deprivation, all of this. What happens if they get a bootleg copy of this movie and see their so-called dear leader being mocked?
Well, there's going to be some questions, some doubts, and it's going to strike. Some people might get outraged and upset that dear leader is being mocked. Other people might go, oh, well, you know, I had a couple doubts about him in the back of my head. I suppressed them, but this kind of encourages me to laugh at how he takes himself so seriously to begin with. Look, Adrian, the crazy propaganda machine of why, when they're worrying about their human rights abuses and aggressively abusing folks, do they care about a movie? Because I think that's just what you do. Chairman Mao had his big grand vision to change society, and he'd also be obsessed with a poem that one guy was writing in a backwater community. This is the same country that came out with a release saying that, I think it was that Kim Jong-il once did a game of golf and he hit a hole-in-one 18 times in a row. I mean, this is just sheer insanity, pretty much, and how obsessed they are with their views.
You mean he didn't get a hole-in-one in every round, Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy that we would even, that anyone in those countries would even take this seriously, but but they do.
And that's
All
the-
right.
that's-
So
that's
we
the
just have a
point.
little bit of time left. I'm going to put this to you first, Anthony. Is there going to be any sort of new hack, new so-called retaliation from North Korea now that the movie is out?
Well, I think they're going to keep doing what they do because we've seen this recipe of continually, as Simon said, threats against other countries, Japan, making fabricated concoctions about themselves and Kim Jong-il.
Yeah.
Like I said, so yeah, we're just going to see more of this, and we have to learn, like I said, that this is the way they are. It's not about us, it's about them.
Last word to you, Simon.
Well, I think if nothing else, this will help North Korea. What it does lack more than anything else is an appreciation of dramatic irony. So the more bootleg tapes of this that goes out, the more they'll see dramatic irony in full-planned Hollywood, and they might learn to laugh at themselves. And again, I'm all for that as well.
Okay.